Hi, this is Reese from CreataCRM, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can send quotes into MYOB. Now this is going to be an overview with CreataCRM where MYOB is managing its inventory. Now what we're going to do is send quotes to sales orders because with the API you cannot have quotes to quotes inside of MYOB. In this training we're going to be showing you how you can create a quote inside of Creator, then we're going to send an email quote to the client itself, and then we're going to send a sales order to MYOB for the administration team in MYOB to reserve the stock and obviously process it where they can send a purchase order and invoice it from there, and we'll show you how that works. Now when we're in Creator we can simply go to the Create drop down menu here and go to Quote itself. Now that'll open up a quote and you can just type in the name on this one here. So this is a test demo for CreataCRM. It's got a quote number that you can have there. You can actually have the settings to preserve the MYOB numbers, so this number itself can be pushed across. Our experience with MYOB is you do not do that. You have a drop down menu that you can add your own type of status in here. We're going to say current section over here, and we're going to go valid till, let's say, the 20th in that section there. You may have a purchase order if you're doing a quote where they give you a reference number for the client itself to put a number in there. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and have another comment. This is a test demo. Okay, and that gives you the ability to put in user instructions in this section here. Other things you may want to know about is, for example, you've got company contact and account. That's really important to know. One is with the account, that wires directly into MYOB. So when you sync into MYOB, you can actually have an account called Customer ABC. But for example, your company itself could be anyone, so it could be a subsidiary of the AA customer itself. So you can link it to another company itself, but the account is the one where we're going to be sending the invoice to. So it helps you to have when you have multiple levels of company organization trees. So we're just going to leave that there. We may just put AA customers just for this demo here. Now from here we're going to now add some items in here. Now this is really important and kind of a bit of something that you need to do some training for the users or end users in this particular section here. So we're going to add 2 items and click on the add button, and it's going to add 2 items immediately. Now we sync the product services from MYOB inside of Creator. So what that means is, as you can see here, is that you've got all these different items that are displaying in this particular view. Now if you look closely here, is that you've got things like the item type. Now that comes from CreataCRM itself. So you can actually bring in the CreataCRM item types, and that even has different inventory stock levels in here as well. You've got the name of it here, which is like the name of the type, and then you've got the item number itself here, as you can see. The -1 is where MYOB does not inventory itself. So this is a MYOB item, but it's not inventory. So when you're actually sending stock out and you want to actually place a sales order on it, you probably are preferring to have a inventory item. So see the stock here's got 199 here, and it's 1337, for example. So the other point you need to know is that you can't mix and match your items across. Now in Creator you can, but when you send it to MYOB it's not going to process until you correct it. So for example, I've chosen MYOB item, I cannot choose the MYOB activity on this particular item across. So I have to go through and choose another one. I'm just going to go through, I'm just going to quickly, I think I've got something called D70 in here, and then it gives me the item itself, and it's got 19,362 in stock, which is pretty cool. I'm going to put the quantity is in here, and my unit cost is $41. We don't want to give it away, so I'm going to say $2.99 and make some profit out of this. So it calculates this information. Now you continue, it can add items in here, and it's very easy and quick to use. The other point to actually recognize is this site is very responsive. What I mean by that is that at the moment this is like 1200 dpi screen in here, and it's quite wide. But the user experiences that we're going to have here is that you want it responsive. That means as the actual screens get smaller and smaller and smaller, it will fit into the screen in here. So you can see here, if you want to add an item in here quite easily, it can easily add there and be quite responsive for the users in this section here. Now I quickly added 2, so I'm going to delete those 2 items, and so it's easy for the users to add them in their tablet and mobile phone. Easy enough anyway, without doing a app and so forth. So we've done that, and we've now got the sales order across, and we're going to actually save and view to see what we've finished up with. Okay, so we've got the invoice across, and now we'll send it across. Now that allows a central location for the people to do quotes really quickly, see the stock on hand. Also, you don't have to second guess what stock items you can send quotes out to, and you can manage that centrally from MYOB and bring it to the users quite easily. Now the next section we will need to do is we're going to be setting a quote itself. Now to do this is simply go to the reports drop down menu, and you can choose a quote template. Now we're going to choose one of the quote templates, and we'll just bring in a quote template. Now this can be designed in our report editor. It's a very powerful report editor. So a lot of people complain about, the limitations of reports. Our report editor can do a lot. So you can use our basic templates that you can use, which is the one that comes from MYOB, or you can do a presentational report. Now, just to email, it's quite simple to do. You just click on this paperclip and click on that. And that will just convert this email itself and make a attachment called quote PDF in here, and then link to the customer. Now, how we've worked it, we've intelligently had an algorithm by scanning through MYOB. Now, what we find with users is that when they've linked MYOB, they put an email address just on the customer without a name. So the way that we have to work out where the email actually is could be at multiple levels. So we've kind of developed our code to work with that, knowing that MYOB users have many options to put places everywhere. So we understand that, and we've solved that. So we can send that email across, and you could just type an email, send it as put subject in it, use a template to send out and send it across. Now we won't send it across. We'll just, for sake of time, we'll just close that. Now the last stage is sending a sales order to MYOB. Now this is a bit of a process, as you've got to get that triangle to move into a circle scenario, which is we need to make sure we make MYOB happy. First thing you got to do is you got to make sure you got an account there, because that's where you can't have a sales order without an account. Then you've got to make sure, as I said beforehand, you don't mix and match the items. Now what that means is that you've got an MYOB section here, and if I actually edit this, you can change the layouts of this. Now you can default it, but MYOB has multiple layouts. Now that means that if you've got items, you only can have items in the MYOB in the quote itself. So each MYOB item in the list view only can have an MYOB item in the items in the quote. Now if you have time billing, you have to have activities, and there's other scenarios in here. So we're going to do items for this one, and we're going to save and view that. So we've got to say, look, this is what we're doing. You can, therefore, these, I know from the video that these are 2 items in here and they're stock, so we should be safe to send that across. But it will whinge with you, and it's more if you are getting your staff to adopt on this process, you're going to probably have to just give them a little bit of training on, hey, don't mix and match here. So the next thing we're going to do is send it out. So we've got a little ellipse up the top right, send sales order, that simple. Now it will pop up. Now you're going to tick both of them. Look, we'll change the code on that where we should just automatically select, but you need to send the whole sales order across. It will whinge if one of these items is bad. It doesn't match the MYOB layout. So we just assume that it does and click on OK. Now that is sent to MYOB. You can just click on the MYOB tab here. And the great news is it's got an MYOB section here. And you can actually, and the users can even click on it and see where it's up to. Say this is a sales order itself, and see other information like the shipping date, anything like this, comments that that the accountancy system have put in there. So that's pretty helpful to find out bits and pieces about that. But usually this is for a salesperson that just simply wants to send a quote into sales orders for the administration team to then do its process and keep everything in the central location. And the great thing about it is also that the person on the quoting level can click on quotes and show you where it's up to. For example, it can show you that when you drag and drop this, it can show you the status of it's actually in the sales order process. So for example, if anyone changes to, sends an invoice from this, it can show you that this stage is on a open invoice or close invoice. So that kind of helps the the staff, which is a CRM, which is about customer management and relationships, where a person calls up and says, look, where are we up to on that order? They can just look it up. Okay, we're close invoiced and we send it to you, and stock should be available, and there should be notes on that. So that's the CRM side. So that's it, fusing together of the cold face of users putting quotes in, and it adds value. So a lot of managers are trying to fuse these two worlds together, which is the administration team and the sales team. I know sometimes it's hard to, but the key thing is once there's a value add where it helps the salespeople to understand where the process is up to, there hopefully is a value add and helps the people to manage the customer better. Hope that helps, and any questions, please give us a call, and we're happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks.